Call is now being recorded.
Did you say wait?
I did, because I was wondering if we want to talk about like how we're gonna approach this conversation. If we want to lay out some structure to it, or just freeform it.
Oh, up to you.
All right. Well, then let's just get into it then.
Man, all right.
Okay. So we are here to talk about the movie Office Christmas Party.
Office
Which
Christmas
was pretty
Party.
good. Yeah.
Was it?
Okay, hold on.
Wait, man. We gotta do the intro, because I don't want to sound edit. So we have to lo-fi the intro.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like lo-fi, we gotta do the lo-fi, music. Ready?
Oh. Okay.
So here's right to the podcast. So it goes,
Right.
Wait, how's it go? It's the 11th Street Telegram.
Your premier anachronistic news and entertainment program.
Was enough.
We'll speak
God, man, I can't even.
Hey, boys. Yeah. It's been a while since I've heard our intro. I don't think I remember all the beats.
I'm eating a turkey sandwich like a professional podcaster.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm dealing with a dog that's hyper.
That's good.
Like a super professional podcaster.
Yeah. Man, so we're gonna. So you saw Star Wars Rogue One yesterday. I saw it on.
Excuse me. It's Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. That's technically what it's called. I was being fake pedantic. Well, the thing is, sometimes I'm real pedantic, but I dress it up like I'm being fake pedantic in order to get away with being real pedantic.
It's a classic pedant move.
Yeah, it is.
Classic.
So in the end, it's just real pedantic.
Real pedantry.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
All right. Okay. So, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. What grade would you give it?
Well, I mean, sorry. At least if we're doing the standard out of 5-star rating, at least 3. And I haven't decided 3.5 or 4.
Okay.
Probably. I mean, what about you?
So I was thinking, not in terms of stars, but in terms of letter grades. And I think that...
Because you're a professor.
Yeah. And I think I would give it an A-, B+.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'd give it an A-, B+. There are some problems with it that have grown in my mind over the last several hours as I've been thinking about it. But then again, there are also some things that become even more cool the more I think about them. So it's something, and I sort of came around to thinking about it in terms of how it compares to The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's not the best comparison to make, but it's, they're the two most recent Star Wars movies. So I think it's fair in that sense. I think that Force Awakens overall had a better job, was better from a character standpoint, but weaker from a story standpoint. What I mean is, Force Awakens, I think, did a better job having a smaller number of more fully developed characters, and was maybe a little bit maybe a little bit better at painting the characters quickly and efficiently. Like, I think of, for example, in the opening scene of The Force Awakens, when Poe Dameron is taken by Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren's just looking at him, and Poe Dameron goes, "So who talks first? You talk first, I talk first." Like, that was a little moment where it's like, oh man, you understand so much about what kind of guy Poe Dameron is, like, so quickly, with just that little moment. And there's a lot of that in Force Awakens, and I think that Rogue One was short on that kind of stuff. Then again, the story in Force Awakens really is a very, very bald-faced, repetition of the original Star Wars movie. Whereas Rogue One is something new and different that we haven't seen in Star Wars before. So maybe Rogue One, if it's like the ultimate Star Wars movie to me would be the same plot as Rogue One, but with characterization that was as good as Force Awakens, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not to say I didn't like the characters in Rogue One. I did like the characters in Rogue One, but I think that they could have been a lot better.
Right. Well, so I think I mostly, excuse me, I agree with you for the most part. But like the points you said about, Force Awakens being sort of a retelling or like a different version of the original Star Wars movie, like the beats were similar and stuff. Like, I totally agree there. And Rogue One is telling a different story. Totally agree with that. But as far as like story pacing goes too, like maybe that ties into characterization, but the pacing in Rogue One, I only saw it once, but the first part of the movie, I was real confused. I was like,
totally rushed. Totally agree.
What planet are they on? And then, and then there was a moment where like it was my own fault, but like I had too much water to drink, and I hate having to run out and pee.
I had to as well. I also had to go pee. It was terrible.
Yep. So I ran out. I ran out in a scene that had. I'm still getting used to these dudes' names. Blah 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 blah. Not what's his name? Saw Gerrera, that guy.
Yeah.
I ran out at a moment when he was explaining something, and I came back, and I missed the person I went with wasn't a huge Star Wars person, so I was like, what did I miss? And like, she's like, oh, he's talking to like some gross looking squid guy.
Dude, we went to pee at the exact same moment. Seriously. We peed at the exact same moment.
Yeah, and I was like, a squid guy, and then it shows, I guess they're still on Jedha, but like those two characters that were in the Mos Eisley scene were they run into them, and so I whispered to the person I was with, I was like, are they on Tatooine? And she's like, what? I'm like, are they Tatooine? Are they on? And she's not unfamiliar, but she's not.
Right.
She doesn't know the names of the planets and stuff. So I was like, are they on Tatooine? Are they at Mos Eisley? And I'm sure, like, for somebody who's not like up on Star Wars things, she's just like, what are these names you're babbling?
Yeah. You're just saying sounds. Right. Yeah, I can see how that would be confusing. Yeah, I think that I really liked the character of Jyn Erso, but I just don't think that she just wasn't quite fully drawn. I think that she was a little too, she just wasn't quite fleshed out enough. And I think that might have something to do with the reshoots issue, which we'll probably talk about. Because it seems like they went back and they changed, this summer they changed some aspects of her character, based on things that are in the trailers that are not in the actual movie. And so I think that might be partially to blame for that.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we should just talk about them right now.
Yeah. So it's clear from the trailers that the entire third act was changed. Like, the way that the movie ends was different. Maybe not in the ultimate sense, but in the mechanics of it, it was totally different. Like,
yeah, like
we know that originally what they filmed was that they took the hard drive with the Death Star plans and like left and got back onto the beach and were running away. Whereas in this movie, in the actual movie, that doesn't happen at all, which is kind of interesting.
And there's a scene like on that. Oh, and if you haven't figured it out, there's spoilers all over this thing, so don't.
Oh yeah, spoilers. A little late for a spoiler tag, but that's okay.
Yeah. And like there's the scene in the trailer where she's up on that like broadcast tower thing, and she's running out onto a little platform, and there's a TIE fighter like that hovers up and staring at the TIE fighter, and that never happened.
Oof, amazing shot.
Yeah. And I watched something on, I think it was Nerdist, where they said, you know, that they thought that was Krennic. Like at one point, that would have been Krennic in the TIE fighter trying to stop her or whatever.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Another thing, Krennic was not a particularly good bad guy. Like, it's kind of weird that the main antagonist of the movie turns out to be someone who's kind of like a middle management bureaucrat who kind of got shit on by the higher ups.
That's similar to what's his name in Force Awakens. That guy was, you know, not Kylo Ren, but the other guy was sort of exactly like Krennic. Seems like.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. What was his name? General Hux.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Little huckster.
Yep. So I think that the Jyn Erso character, she's good. I like her. I think she was effectively a cool badass, but there just wasn't as much. She didn't tug at the heartstrings quite as much as she needed to. And then, I thought, I think that was my main character complaint.
Well, I think, like, I mean, it probably has something to do with the reshoots. Like if in the original, you know, we're making a lot of assumptions, but like in the original shoot, if she survived, then then it would have made a difference in the end. And there's other scenes that came before, like in the trailer, it shows Mon Mothma like sort of giving a list of all of her crimes and she has to be like, oh, okay, well, I'll join up with the rebels, and that's not really what she was doing. So, I mean, it's probably a fault of that. However it came about, I agree with you. Like, her motivations were just sort of not that clear. And also, like, I think that the trailers and like the posters and stuff sort of like she's not really the main character in the movie. I mean, maybe she's the one that gets the most screen time, but it's not like this is really like an ensemble cast sort of thing. I wouldn't. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, she doesn't feel like she's the star. I don't know.
Totally. You would not say that Rogue One is the story of Jyn Erso in the way that The Force Awakens is the story of Rey.
Right, yeah. I mean, it feels more like Seven Samurai or something. It's like get these ragtag group of people together. And Jyn Erso.
And I love a ragtag group movie.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was like super good. Like especially What was the blind guy's name?
Chirrut Imwe.
What is it?
Chirrut Imwe. Or
yeah,
Chirrut.
That guy.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page and I can't even find it. Oh yeah, Chirrut Imwe. Yeah, right. Yeah. That guy's character was great, I thought.
He was great. And I liked his friend too with the big gun. I really liked the droid. I liked K2SO a lot. I thought he was hilarious.
Yeah. Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk. Yeah, I liked Diego Luna. I thought that his character could have maybe had a little bit more humor to him, but he was good. I liked the Imperial pilot character.
Yeah, Bodhi, played by Bodhi Rook. That guy, man, if you haven't seen The Night Of, that HBO show that he was in with John
Turturro.
Yeah, John Turturro. Like, he is so good in that movie. Just really, really good. And I think I just saw him. I think he's in this new Netflix show that was just released called The OA. I think he's in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, yeah, he was really good, but I think his character was another one that I was like, they needed to do something right away to establish, like, I didn't get that he was like the shell shock, sort of wild cannon guy that's trying to help the rebels out until much later in the movie.
Yeah, I think it would have been useful to have a scene between him and Mads Mikkelsen. Like, it would have been useful to have a scene establishing that they were friends.
Right.
Bodhi yeah. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I think it would have been good to have a scene where Mads Mikkelsen could come to see that Bodhi was, like, also morally conflicted. And he talked about it. I mean, at one point, the Bodhi character says something like, your father saw in my eyes that I didn't have the heart for this, or something like that. So that was there, but I think it would have been useful to have an actual scene. Also, the whole sequence where they go to the rainy, dark planet and Diego Luna or Cassian is going to assassinate Galen, it didn't make any sense that the rebellion would be like, no, the mission is still the same. Assassinate him because he might be working on a Death Star. Well, by that point, they knew he had made a Death Star already.
Yeah.
And so it didn't make any sense that they would say, no, just shoot him. Don't try to capture him. Just shoot him. Like, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I can come up with reasons why, but
yeah,
it's definitely like a head scratcher. I mean, because you could say, like, if we're talking about, I don't know, what was the bomb? The guy who invented the bomb in World War II, the Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could say, like, you need to kill Oppenheimer like, what if he escapes when we capture him and he goes to, like, he has other crazy ideas in his head that he'll make a better bomb or, like, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Make a bigger Death Star or whatever. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. I can buy that.
Yeah. But it still, it wasn't, like, if we have to invent the reasons why, like, it probably wasn't that clear.
Yeah.
I feel like, but like, I liked a whole bunch of things in this movie. Like,
oh yeah, me too. No question.
I mean, yeah, like I think people are gonna fault it for being darker, but I thought it was good. Like, the entire movie being that dark, I just think that, like, all the way up until we see Vader, you know, like, that scene of Vader just, like, annihilating those guys.
Oh, God, so good.
Terrifying. So terrifying. Yeah. Like, that little scene that, like, from the time he's, you know, just attacking those guys, it added so much more, like, menace and weight to the original Star Wars movie.
Oh,
whereas I don't think,
100%.
Yeah, I don't think the prequels are bad movies, but you could still have a bad movie that makes his character menacing. And I don't think the prequels do that at any point. He's not a menacing character in them. He's just sort of like a
He's a whiny child, and then he's a whiny teenager.
Yeah, and he's just this tragic, like, piece of burned meat at the end. And you're just like, oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, get the David Cronenberg character away from me now.
Yeah.
But this is like, oh God, he's just brutal.
I did like seeing a glimpse of him in his Bacta tank and his, like, lava fortress. I thought that was kind of a cool notion. The notion that before the events of, like, prior to the events of the original Star Wars movie, Vader was spending a lot of his time in this lava fortress of his. Even though that's sort of hokey on the surface, I thought the way they rendered it was really cool. And the notion that he has to spend a lot of time in the tank, just probably to keep himself alive.
Yeah, and I mean, that lava fortress world, I mean, I think they're giving a nod to the fact that that's in the last prequel. I mean, that's where he got his body burned up.
Totally.
Yeah,
I think so.
So,
what did
so
you
maybe
think?
they're saying, like, that whole time he's been on that planet. I don't think that's what they meant to take away.
What did you think of his cheesy line?
What was his cheesy line?
Oh, when he's like, "Don't choke on your own aspirations, Director Krennic."
Oh no, that's totally in line with the some of the stuff he said on in the first trilogy. I think he said things like that.
He didn't make any puns though. He said things like "apology accepted, Captain Piet," and then he said slightly quippy things, but nothing so openly punny. Now, I only asked because I did not think it was a great line, but I wasn't particularly bothered by it. I guess I would say I rolled my eyes a little bit, but Emily was like, that was some prequel level bullshit right there. And I was like, I wouldn't go so far. Far, but it was definitely, it was a little bit maybe too punny, but.
Yeah, I can see how it's sort of towing the line. Of just being like some sort of really cheesy joke. But I didn't think it was. I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad. Oh man, I want to save it. I wanted to save this, but let me say the parts that I really didn't like.
Okay.
Like what is that guy's? Is it Tarkin? Is that what his name is? No.
Yeah, Tarkin.
The CG character that we had to see so much of.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Like.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh God.
So, I knew somehow from reading an article or maybe from one of the trailers, I knew that Tarkin was going to be in the movie as a CG character. I knew he was going to be in it. And so when he showed up, I was like, oh, here's the CG Tarkin, and I kept looking at how CG he was. But my brother-in-law did not know he was CG. He was like, oh my God, how did they find an actor that looks so much like Peter Cushing?
I mean, okay, but it was pretty obvious. I don't know. It was pretty obvious.
I thought it was kind of obvious. I thought it was kind of obvious, but in my day spent reading internet comments today, I'm finding there's a lot of people out there that didn't know it was CG.
I guess so, but man, nobody's eyes move like that. Like it's not the fact that it was with CG. It's the fact that like they made classic CG mistakes. Like, okay, we need to make sure that people know this isn't CG, so they make them do more ticks than is necessary when you're just having a conversation. Like,
so you think they tried? Like, one of the reasons it looked bad is because they tried too hard.
it's the uncanny valley thing. It's like you can't do it. So, if you and I were standing in the room together and we were having a conversation and it was intense, I mean, I would be looking at you and probably not blinking. If we were in an argument or something, we would be like locked eyes and yelling at each other or whatever.
Yeah.
And Tarkin's eyes were just like all over the place. And they sort of did the same thing with Leia at the end too. And God, why end? Why, like, I'm like shaking my fist. Like, why end on that, on the creepy, you don't want the last visual that people walk out of the theater with being, oh God, there's the CG face. And that's a roll credit.
So, look, I guess I agree with you in most senses. Like last night, one of the things I was saying last night after seeing the movie was, man, the CG is amazing, but we just can't quite yet do human beings CG.
No.
Like, we're just not there yet. You can do an amazing CG ape. You can do an amazing, I mean, even Gollum from Lord of the Rings from 13 years ago still holds up really well, but you just can't do a human being yet. And they could have made Tarkin a smaller character, and they could have just had that scene with Leia, have her from the back. You did not need her to turn around.
Yeah, but the Tarkin scene.
But I guess the only thing that makes it, go ahead.
Wait, you go.
No, but I guess today I've come to learn that a lot of people didn't know that there was CG, so I guess it was convincing to a lot of the audience. So, yeah, I don't know.
Man, I mean, and like, I think what me and one of my other friends were saying is that, like, the scenes where you get to see Tarkin in the reflection, like, that looks real, Like, holy crap, where did they get that footage from? How did they use that?
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, but I don't think I'm emphasizing how much I really enjoyed the movie. Like, the fact that they turned some of the Star Wars formula on its head a bit, like Alan Tudyk's android was really cool and refreshing because it wasn't like he's like the anti C-3PO, just like says what he says, and he has feelings, and he talks about them, and he gets petulant and upset and stuff. Like, that was cool. The two Japanese swordsman guys, or the one swordsman, and his partner with the Gatling gun thing, like, that was great.
His partner, if you're into that sort of thing, may have been more than just his sort of buddy. Depending on how you want to read that that relationship. I think that's a plausible reading of it.
Yeah, totally.
And so one of the things I liked so much is that, so it's actually kind of interesting. So, we knew that Rogue One, I knew that Rogue One was going to exist even before I saw The Force Awakens. And what's interesting is my expectations from, like, let's say a year and a half ago, summer of last year, before I'd seen either Force Awakens, and I also knew what Rogue One was going to be. I knew Rogue One was going to be the story of the rebels stealing the Death Star plans. So I was like, okay, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to get Episode 7, which is going to be this big, new, epic, wide, sweeping extension of the main Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker sequence. And then we're going to get this, like, smaller, more self-contained sort of heist film. And I was really excited about that. But in retrospect, it's almost the opposite. In fact, The Force Awakens felt like a much more intimate, self-contained little movie. And Rogue One felt like holy shit, there's this huge galaxy, and you can see like what the Empire has done to the galaxy. You can see the mining operations. You see what it's like for a planet to be occupied by the Empire. You see, you know, you see how the sausage of the Empire is made and all that stuff. And it was like, it was more epic. It was like, that's, I guess, one of the things that sort of surprised me about Rogue One. It was this huge scale where, you know, while The Force Awakens was actually sort of a more intimate little story. So I was pleasantly surprised by that, I guess.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what I was going to say also about sort of changing some of the tropes around a little bit. Like, I like seeing that the Rebel Alliance was doing morally questionable things, you know? Like, and
I like the notion that there were different bands of rebels. There was like the more terroristic band, and then there was the sort of more mainstream band, and they didn't necessarily get along, but they kind of used each other. That was really interesting.
Yeah, that was cool. I liked that they did a really good job in this of not like the blind swordsman guy could have they could have very easily put a lightsaber into his hands at some point in the movie, and they never did that.
That's true. That's true. Yep.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm really, really glad that they didn't.
The only lightsaber in the whole movie is Darth Vader's, and you don't see it until the very, very end.
Yeah, man.
You see no lightsabers until that, and then when you finally do see that lightsaber, I remember, God, the end of the movie, my heart was racing so fast by the end of the movie, like because you know when Cassian and Jyn are on the beach and they basically get killed by the shockwave, I thought for a second, I was like, okay, is that the end of the movie? Is that the end of the movie? But then it kept going, and then I was like, oh fuck, because of what happened. Like, it was amazing. And you know, there's that dark hallway, and then you just see the lightsaber, and you're like, oh no.
God. Yeah.
That was a really great moment. It was so good. So good. And you know, so many things like seeing, potentially the best space battle, like potentially better than the space battle in Return of the Jedi, or damn near.
It was still, yeah.
Like the ramming maneuver, like the way that they rammed the two Star Destroyers together as a way of opening up
with the Hammerhead Corvette, I think they called it.
Yep. I love that part because the Admiral, the Calamari Admiral, I guess who I like to believe is Admiral Akbar's father or something. Yeah. He's like, get a Hammerhead Corvette. And then when you see it, you're like, well, goddamn, that's a Hammerhead Corvette right there. That looks like what it's called. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. Oh, and did you notice they included a lot of things that Lucas had in his like original Star Wars screenplays. Like, I
didn't notice it at the time, but I've read that since.
Oh, okay, yeah, like the Kyber crystals and the wills, the like Temple of the Wills or whatever. Yeah, it's not like I did a ton of research about that, but I listened to this audiobook, How Star Wars Conquered the Universe, which is really, really good. And he sort of talks a lot about that in that book. But I thought that was good. I thought that the cameos, like some of the cameos were pushing it a little bit. Like I said, those two guys from the cantina, why are they on Jedha? Like, he had to get the death sentence on 12 systems somehow. So that's true.
But they were also
like,
two lucky motherfuckers that they left Jedha apparently like right after that because they were gone by the time the Death Star shot it.
Right. And did you pick up on this? I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, but was Jedha the home of the Jedis? Is that why it was called Jedha?
You know, I think maybe we're meant to believe that because when they're going through the desert and you see there's a huge crumbling sculpture, and I did not notice this at the time, but I've since seen a screenshot of it. One of the big like knocked over sculptures in the desert that they're walking past is a cloaked figure holding a lightsaber.
Oh, okay.
So it seems like, like there definitely seems to be some kind of Jedi connection. And
I hope so, because if not, that's utterly confusing.
Yeah, I think that's implied. I take it to be implied anyway.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so much cool shit. Like, also stormtroopers actually were scary. Like, they actually seemed like effective soldiers in this movie.
Yeah.
Which they didn't in the entire first trilogy, you know? Like, they were not horrible shots all the time. They were more effective, you know, they were scary. I liked the black stormtroopers that follow Krennic around and that spoke in a way that you couldn't understand. I thought that was a cool little thing.
I think they're called Death Troopers.
Yeah, I liked the Death Troopers.
Just in general, like, I liked that we got to see a lot of different terrain that we haven't seen before. And like that first creepy scene where it's like that just about to storm real bad, but half of the sky is still pretty lit up, sort of. You know what I mean? Like when they're on his farm or whatever. Like that was just really cool to see.
That was great.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like the night rain scene, like we haven't seen that, I don't think, in a Star Wars movie.
No. Although in that night rainy scene, I was a little bit annoyed. It might have been a projection problem in my theater, but I was like, okay, it's a little too dark. Like it was. I felt it was like dark to the point of being hard to see things. So it could have been a projection problem. But so if you didn't come away feeling that way, then did you see it in 1D or 2D?
I thought
no. 1D. You stared at a point of light. 2D.
I saw it in I saw it in 2D. I didn't see it in 2D.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I kind of want to, just because, like, when else am I going to get the chance to see it in 3D? You know?
Yeah.
Like, I want to go see it again anyway. I mean, it's one
I think I'm going to try to go.
So.
I think I'm going to try to go on Christmas Eve when Emily and I are driving up to Michigan, and I think I'm going to try to make my parents go on New Year's Eve. Although I don't know how long it's been since my parents saw the original Star Wars, so I don't know how many of the direct like continuities they'll appreciate, but whatever. I think they'll enjoy it.
Yeah, it was good. I'm trying to think if
the blue milk. Did you notice the blue milk in Jin's home at the very beginning?
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, in that very first scene when Jin's mother is like puttering around in their house, there's a picture of blue milk.
Nice. Yeah. The scene where they're actually like using the two joysticks to steal the thing. I don't know. That just felt a little forced. Like the whole mechanism of trying to steal hard drives. I don't understand why it needed to have. Like, why wasn't it just in a filing cabinet? It didn't really make much sense, you know?
Yeah, I thought it
was.
I suppose that's true, but I thought it was kind of cool visually.
I did too, but I think it just needed a little more. It needed a little more context for it to make sense why it was like that. But man, the death scene that got me the most was definitely K2SO. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Oh
yeah, because he died brutally, and then also I don't know. I thought both Chirrut and Baze's death scenes got to me. Both of them were pretty good.
I guess I didn't. It should have made sense that everybody. I didn't think that far ahead when I was watching the movie that like, oh, all of these characters are going to die. Like I didn't really process it like that. So I think the droid was the first one to go. So after that, I was sort of like, People are, okay. Like, they're going to start chopping it down. But I think it caught me sort of off guard.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were going to have, I wasn't sure if they were going to have Cassian and Jyn survive. And at the end, I thought for a minute that they were going to somehow miraculously survive. But I think it was the right thing for them not to. Like, I think it was more in keeping with the tone, the sort of theme of sacrifice throughout the movie, that it was the right thing for them to not survive.
I think so too. And did you? I didn't notice this, but were any of them Bothans? You know, like that line from the original Star Wars. Many Bothans died to get us this information.
Yeah. Well, let me be pedantic again. That line is actually said about the sealing of the plans for the second Death Star.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That line's actually in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So
that'll be another standalone Star Wars story movie, the story of the Bothans.
Yeah, I kind of hope they don't do that, but maybe they will.
Me too. I kind of hope they don't do that too. So we know that the next movie is going to be the Han Solo movie. Like, we know that is true, and in fact, it's going to start filming like in a couple months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Episode 8 has been shot. It's in the editing process. It may, they may do reshoots this summer, but like, it's in the can. And so we're probably going to see a trailer for that. I'm guessing Super Bowl is my guess. It was like as a sort of event at which to debut it.
Right.
Or maybe Oscars, because the Oscars are on ABC and ABC is Disney. I don't know. But that's my guess. But yeah, they're going to start filming this Han Solo movie. So having seen Rogue One and the first ever Star Wars movie that is not part of the main episode sequences, what can we expect from the Han Solo movie? We know that it's going to be directed by the guys who directed the Lego movie.
Interesting.
Yeah. We know that Alden Ehrenreich is going to play Han Solo and that Donald Glover is going to play Lando Calrissian. We also know that they're going to cast a female lead that is not going to be, Carrie Fisher or somebody. I don't know. One wonders if maybe it'll be more of like more of sort of a almost Guardians of the Galaxy kind of tone to it. Probably not that comic, but certainly.
Yeah, I bet they wouldn't go. I mean, they're trying to make money, right? Like no doubt they're trying to make blockbusters, and
right.
I mean, I don't know much about. I'm not like an expert, but I have heard that in order to make a blockbuster, it has to be PG-13. That's just the way it is. So
right.
if they made it like PG, it probably wouldn't. It's not going to be like the Lego movie. But yeah, maybe it will be like have that same tone as like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
And
like,
I wonder
you can imagine.
if they'll.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wonder if they'll lean as heavy on the callbacks, or if they'll sort of like ditch the callbacks since Han is going to be a young man. Like, will they ditch that? I don't know. Yeah, I like the Lego movie a lot. So like those guys are pretty smart and funny. Yeah.
I think that they'll almost certainly. I feel like they're almost certainly going to reference things like Han winning the Millennium Falcon from Lando in a game. That I feel like they're almost certainly going to do that. But like, what is the overall plot of the movie going to be? Like, is it going to be about Han undertaking a very daring smuggling mission, for somebody? it's almost like the plot is going to be sort of any given episode of the show Firefly in some sense, and that it's going to be this guy with a cargo ship and his, Chewbacca, and he's trying to smuggle things while there's this big empire keeping order. It almost seems like it's going to be, that kind of a story,
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, are they going to incorporate some of the, like, I hope they don't do this, but it almost makes me think like the what is it, the Kessel Run or whatever? Like, he made the Kessel Run in however many parsecs,
right.
Was that the Kessel Run?
Yeah, are they going to try to fill all that stuff in? Yeah, Kessel Run.
I hope not, but
yeah, me
but
too.
it wouldn't surprise me if they did, because they've kind of been leaning heavily on that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and one other thing about Rogue One, I really liked the guy, the little alien guy that didn't have any lines but was all over that movie, like the sort of troll looking guy.
Oh, the tiny little guy? Yeah.
Yeah, he was played by the guy who played Wicket.
Oh, that was Warwick Davis?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that figures. Man, we have no idea what's going to happen in episode 8. I mean, I guess we can speculate, but I really hope that episode 8 does not kind of recapitulate Empire Strikes Back in the way that Force Awakens recapitulated the original Star Wars. I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, it would be hard to, I think.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think they're going to do that, but you can see, like, okay, the training montage between Rey and Luke,
mm-hmm.
The rebels are on the run. It ends with a victory for the First Order. And,
mm-hmm.
you can see how it would be easy for them to think, well, that's what we got to do. And I'm just hoping that they just didn't decide to do that, that's not where they went.
Yeah, same here. Well, all right. I think
all right, man.
A wrap.
Well, I think I'm going to finally take a shower today. And, then we're going to go to a Christmas party.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun, and maybe we'll actually start our old podcast up again one of these days.
Yeah, we'll have to do a Coen Brothers one before too long.
Oh yeah, we gotta finish that up.
Yep, man.
Okay.
All right.
Good talking to you.
Until next time.
Stay by your apparatus.
All right.
Apparatus.
Talk to you later. Bye.